बात करने के लिए। पहले मुझे बताइए, आपने ब्लिंकिट पे ये आइसक्रीम का डिलीवरी दिया, तो जब पहली बार आपने खोल के उसमें देखा वो कीड़ा, तो आपका पहला रिस्पॉन्स क्या था?
देखिए, जब मैंने पहली बार ये बॉक्स ओपन किया तो जो कीड़ा मुझे दिखा तो सबसे पहले तो मैं डर गई थी कि मतलब पहली बार मेरे साथ ये क्या निकला ये। सबसे पहले जो मेरे मुंह से निकला था ओ माय गॉड करके, तो एकदम से मैं घबरा गई थी कि क्या चीज़ है ये।
जी, पर पूरा सील्ड था डब्बा, तो ये आपने जब खोला तो वो पैकेजिंग पूरी सील्ड थी?
जी जी, पूरी सील थी। मैंने सील ही तोड़ के ही मैंने बॉक्स ओपन किया था।
जी, तो फिर ये बहुत ही जाना माना ब्रांड है अमूल, और पैकेजिंग भी अगर सील थी तो मतलब कुछ मैन्युफैक्चरिंग ही इसमें डिफेक्ट लगता है। तो आपने इसके बारे में क्या किया, फिर कंप्लेन कहाँ करी?
मैंने एक्चुअली जब ये मेरे ब्लैंकेट से जब मैंने मॉर्निंग में ये सामान मंगवाया था, उसके बाद मैंने जब मेरा कनखजूरा निकला ना, तो मैंने सबसे पहले ब्लैंकेट को ही मैसेज किया था, क्योंकि मैंने जहाँ से पहले सामान ऑर्डर किया था उसी को कंप्लेन करूँगी। बट फिर ब्लिंकिट ने मुझे 195 जो है रिफंड कर दिया था। उन्होंने ब्लिंकिट ने अमूल को मेल किया था, तो उन्होंने बोला था कि आधे घंटे में आपके पास अमूल की तरफ से कॉल आएगा। बट अमूल की तरफ से मेरे पास ना तो कोई मैसेज आता है, ना मेरे पास कोई कॉल आता है। उसके बाद मैंने शायद दिन में 2 बजे तक फिर मैंने ट्विटर, अपने पर्सनल ट्विटर अकाउंट पे ये वीडियो अपलोड की थी, जिसपे मैंने अमूल को टैग किया था। उसके बाद फिर जब मैंने टैग किया तो 3 बजे अमूल की तरफ से ट्विटर अकाउंट पे ही मेरा मैसेज आता है कि दीपा जी आप अपना नंबर हमें व्हाट्सअप कीजिए मैसेंजर पे। तो बट मैंने उनको अपना नंबर 3 बजे मैसेज भी कर दिया था, बट अमूल की तरफ से कोई रिस्पॉन्स नहीं आता मुझे। और जब शाम को मेरे पास काफ़ी न्यूज़ चैनल पहुंच जाते हैं, फूड डिपार्टमेंट पहुंच जाता है, तो शाम को अमूल की तरफ से शुभम नाम के बंदे और नरेंद्र कुमार जी के दो बंदे मेरे घर पे आते हैं, जो सैंपल के लिए अमूल लेके जाते हैं, अमूल का आइसक्रीम लेके जाते हैं अपने लिए। एक्चुअली उनका देखिए, उनका
तो आपने दीपा जी बहुत अच्छी चीज़ करी। आपने बहुत अच्छी चीज़ करी कि आपने एक तो पहले वो डब्बा हटाया नहीं, आपने रखा, उसका एविडेंस लिया, वीडियो बनाया, और आपने जैसे ही उसे ट्विटर पे डाला, जैसे ही सोशल मीडिया पे गया और अमूल डायरेक्टली यो ऐसे लगा कि उनका नाम इन्वॉल्व है, तब उन्होंने एक्शन लेना शुरू करा। आपकी बातचीत से मुझे ये लग रहा है। तो अभी जब आपने उनको डब्बा दिया तब उसमें कीड़ा था, उसके बाद अमूल ने क्या किया?
नहीं, देखिए एक्चुअली मैंने अमूल मुझसे ना डब्बा हैंड ओवर मांग रहा था। देखिए कहीं ना कहीं अगर मैं उनको डब्बा पूरा हैंड ओवर कर देती तो हो सकता था कि अपने डब्बे को वो कहीं फेंक दे या बताए ना मुझे। तो डब्बा तो मुझे फूड डिपार्टमेंट को हैंड ओवर करना था कि जो इंक्वायरी करें। तो मैंने उनको आइसक्रीम जो है सैंपल के रूप में दे दिया था, और वो बाकी घर पे आके उनके जो बंदे आए थे घर पे, उन्होंने वीडियो की जो बैच नंबर होता है, बैच नंबर जो उनके डॉक्यूमेंट उनको चाहिए थे वो सारे कलेक्ट करके वो लेके जा चुके थे मेरे वहां से।
इंटरेस्टिंग। तो आज की डेट में ये किस तारीख की बात है और कितने दिन हो गए इसको, तब से क्या हुआ है अमूल की तरफ से?
देखिए ये 15 तारीख की बात है, और अभी तक अमूल की तरफ से 0 रिस्पॉन्स आया है। 2 बार अमूल के बंदों ने विजिट कर चुके हैं घर पे मेरे, बट जब फर्स्ट टाइम वो लोग आए थे तो वो सैंपल के लिए आए थे रात को। उसके बाद उनका ये कहना था कि हम लोग सैंपल कलेक्ट करके ले जा रहे हैं, हम लोग अपनी इंक्वायरी करेंगे, जाँच करेंगे, मंडे को हमारी टीम आपसे आके बात करेगी। बट जब मंडे को उनकी टीम आती है ना, तो उनकी टीम का कहना होता है कि पहले तो रूडली बात कर रहे थे, उसके बाद उनका कहना होता है कि हमारी तरफ से गलती नहीं हुई है और आपको एक्शन जो लेना है आप लोग ले सकते हो। बट मैंने उनसे यही क्वेश्चन किया कि जब आपकी तरफ से, अमूल की तरफ से कोई गलती नहीं हुई तो गलती है किसकी? हम तो नॉर्मली कस्टमर है, हमारी गलती क्या है? हम लोगों ने तो ब्लैंकेट को पैसा दिया, डिलीवरी चार्ज दिया, और जब सैंपल में गलत चीज़ मेरे घर पे पहुंचा है तो इसकी जानकारी, इंक्वायरी आप लोग करोगे, हम लोग तो नहीं कर सकते इसकी इंक्वायरी। बट अमूल
क्लियरली अमूल ने सही इंक्वायरी नहीं करी, ओनरशिप नहीं ली इस गलती की, और जो बात है जो आपको ठेस लग रहा है, और अमूल जैसा ब्रांड जो इतना लव्ड ब्रांड है उसने इसके बारे में कुछ नहीं किया, ये आपको भी लग रहा है। दीपा जी हमारे साथ बनी रही है, हमारे साथ वी हैव अनदर गेस्ट जॉइनिंग अस नाउ, वी हैव आर्यांश, and during our search his tweet, rather fascinating tweet, caught our attention, and this is what it said. Aryansh had tweeted a picture of an empty bottle which was completely sealed, a plastic sealed container, and he wrote on it saying, "Thanks Swiggy for sending me a sealed empty glass. I hope the lemon soda will come in another order." Now, Swiggy did give a swift response to his reply and his tweet. It went on to say that they will sort of refund the money and all of that, to which Aryan said that, okay, I've got my $80 back, while the soda was worth about 120 rupees. So that's what happened with Aryan. He's live with us now. Aryan, good morning. I hope you've had some soda early in the morning before speaking with us, and you're well hydrated before this. But in your case, unlike Deepa's case, it was a quick response. Swiggy got back, but it wasn't enough, was it?
So there are two things. First of all, good morning and thanks for having me here. Swiggy is a bit active on Twitter, and like I'm also quite active on Twitter. So there are like times like I have interacted a lot with Swiggy. So when this incident happened, I got like partial resolution from Swiggy. Then I found it like bit funny. So I thought to post it on Twitter, and the moment I posted it, it went viral. So yeah, Swiggy saw that post and they commented that we are going to take this up. So they refunded me like $80 out of 120. So I was fine with that. Like most importantly, it was like a funny scenario for me. So, but the next day, since it went viral, uh, someone from the senior escalation team they reached out to me and refunded me the whole amount.
Yeah, but what I'm trying to understand from you is that you can laugh about it, Aryansh, because it's a small amount. Had it been an expensive product, your response would have been very different, right?
No, truly, I agree to that. So there have been instances that like I'm very frequent on like online platforms. So such things have been happening a lot. I remember a time when I bought when I was in college, I bought a scooty from BTM, and that order turned out to be a mess. That was like 70,000 bucks order. So I had to reach out to the customer forum and do a lot of running around this company. So I have a past experience as well where things has gone wrong on online ordering.
Right, right. All right, Deepa, Aryansh, thank you both for joining us with the very latest on this. Deepa जी, अगर मैं आखिरी आपसे एक सवाल पूछ लूँ कि इस समय अगर अमूल आपकी बात सुन रहा है, आप उनसे क्या चाहती हैं? पैसे वापस तो मिल गए, कॉम्पनसेशन तो हो गया, बट व्हाट इज योर डिमांड?
देखिए, मेरी ये अमूल से कोई बड़ी डिमांड नहीं है। एक छोटी सी डिमांड है कि मैं उनसे एक लेटर हेड मांगना चाहती हूँ जिस पे अमूल की तरफ से एक छोटा सा शब्द लिखा जाए कि अमूल इसमें गलती किसी की भी हो, अमूल आगे से ऐसी गलती किसी भी कस्टमर, चाहे कोई भी कस्टमर हो, छोटा कस्टमर हो, बड़ा कस्टमर हो, फ्यूचर में ऐसी गलती किसी कस्टमर के साथ ना हो। देखिए, आपके साथ लाइव जुड़ के एक छोटा सा संदेश देना चाहती हूँ मैं अमूल तक। अगर ये संदेश मेरा पहुँचे तो मैं ये चाहती हूँ कि हम ग्राहकों की इसमें क्या गलती है। हम लोग तो ब्लैंकेट को भी उनका ऑर्डर देते हैं, जो ऑर्डर आता है उसका भी हम लोग पैसा पे करते हैं, और पैसा पे करने के बाद देखिए सबसे बड़ी बात ये है कि जिनका प्रोडक्ट है वो आराम से घर पे बैठे रहते हैं, और हमारे साथ देखिए हम ग्राहक हैं, हमारे साथ ही गलत होता है। उसके बाद हम लोग क्या करते हैं, भागा दौड़ी हमें ही करनी, कभी डीएम ऑफिस जाना पड़ रहा है मुझे, कभी पुलिस के पास जाना पड़ रहा है मुझे। आखिर हमारी गलती क्या है, हमने क्या गलती करी? हम लोगों ने ऑनलाइन प्रोडक्ट मंगाया, अमूल का आइसक्रीम मंगाया, ये हमारी गलती है। उसके बाद हमें भागा दौड़ी करनी पड़ रही है कंटिन्यू, और अमूल की तरफ से बिल्कुल चुप्पी साधी गई है। और कहीं ना कहीं देखिए अमूल अपनी गलती अभी भी नहीं मान रहा है। ठीक है, इनकेस गलती किसी से भी हुई है, अमूल इंक्वायरी करे, अपनी गलती को सुधारे कि फ्यूचर में ऐसी गलती किसी के साथ ना हो। और देखिए, गलती करने के बावजूद भी अमूल ने जो मेरी एक छवि है नोएडा के अंदर, वो भी खराब करने की कोशिश की है। जो झूठा उन्होंने रिट्वीट किया हुआ है, बट बाकायदा उनके बंदे घर पे आते हैं, सैंपल लेके जाते हैं, शुभम नाम के और नरेंद्र कुमार जी। बट अमूल एक तो पहले ही गलती हो चुकी है, मुझे नहीं पता गलती किसके माध्यम से हुई है, बट दूसरी गलती अमूल ने ट्विटर पर झूठ साफ पता चल रहा है अमूल का। ट्विटर पे जो अमूल ने झूठ बोल के ट्वीट कर दिया कि दीपा देवी जी ने हमें बॉक्स नहीं दी, हमें इंक्वायरी करने में दिक्कत हो रही है। देखिए, जब आप बैच नंबर लेके चले गए हो, आप सैंपल लेके जा चुके हो,
दीपा
तो
जी मैं
आपको
समझ
किस
रही
चीज
हूँ
की
आपकी बात।
जानकारी चाहिए?
आप जो कहना चाह रही हैं वो ये है कि आपको नंबर 1 एक अपॉलॉजी चाहिए, एंड सेकंड इतना ये सारा प्रोसेस जो है इतना कम्बसम नहीं होना चाहिए। इसका ओनस, इसका
नहीं होना चाहिए।
इसका जो पूरा प्रोसेस है वो कंज्यूमर्स के ऊपर इतना हैवी नहीं होना चाहिए। हालांकि हमें पॉइंट आउट करना चाहिए कि अमूल हैज़ ऑलरेडी अपोलोजाइज्ड। उन्होंने लिखा एक ट्वीट में that they apologize for this whole experience, but you're saying that that was not enough, which is what you're saying, which is interesting. And that is the question that we want to take with our experts now. Thank you so much, Deepa and Aryant, for joining us and sharing your experience over there. Bijon Mishra, who is a consumer expert, is with us now. Bijon is a well-known name in the industry. He is actually the man behind the very active Jago Grahak Jago campaign. Now, in the 90s, it was the biggest campaign that could have been done to sort of put consumer rights into focus. So, very interesting to know his perspective on things. Bijan, thanks so much for joining us. My first question to you really is, when you hear instances like these, what can people do apart from just, you know, put their tweets, angry, outrageous tweets online, or wait for the media channels to pick up the matter? What can the consumer really do and should be doing?
The first port of call should be a 24/7 helpline number, and not a helpline number which says you are important for me, you are in the Qatar, you are in the queue, and we work only 8 to 6 in the day. No, we need a 24/7 helpline number where physically we can talk to a person who is empowered to take action on behalf of the consumer on those complaints. We don't want also people who are not empowered working at the back end. We want empowered people, nominated by the government, trained by the government, to work on behalf of the consumers, to take up issues. It could be anything to do with their violation of rights, and not push them to go for litigation and go for long drawn wait, which doesn't give the resolution which is required to be given promptly. And that was the ethos behind the Jago Grahak Jago campaign which we designed. And that is where we brought in the helpline number, which is unfortunately even till today is not a 24/7, but it is from 8 to 6 in the evening, you know, from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. in the evening. Now, there also the feedback I get is they are not empowered, they are not trained to the extent which is required.
Right. But Mr. Mishra, I think, you know, even speaking with our case studies today, speaking with aggrieved customers, I think what they want at this point is timely resolution. The question we're trying to understand is, if it takes 10 minutes for a delivery, it should take 10 minutes to resolve completely any issue as well.
Sonal, it is only because the lack of political will. If the Prime Minister wants today, he can bring not only a change, but he can guarantee this kind of a service which I'm talking about. Because it is no rocket science. It can be done, and done in India, because we have talents in India which are being outsourced or engaged by overseas service providers who are engaging our talent to do that kind of a service, which I am expecting from talents in India to do based out of engagement with the government. So I am looking at how government comes in as a neutral person, because, you know, when you look at these regulators in the country, they are supposed to be having these kind of mechanisms in place. Like, you see, I work with the insurance sector now. These days I'm working there. You know, we are doing huge sea change in terms of the attitudinal change which needs to be brought in the insurance sector towards the policyholders. So similarly, I am working with number of regulators in the country. And the only message I'm giving them is, please lend a shoulder to the consumer who is in trouble, because he's paid the full money, or the taxpayers have paid the full money to deserve that service or quality of product from the sellers or the manufacturers.
Right. So you rightly pointed out that currently the helpline numbers, etc., are not really functional. And you know, a lot of people that we speak to, experts, say that listen, you should pursue it. If you do it today, if lots of consumers do it today, perhaps there will be a resolution and accountability will be fixed. But the fact is, Mr. Mishra, in this very busy thing called life, there have to be some easy ways to find resolution. Not everybody is expected to drag people to the court. Even the Noida case study, for example, now she is saying that she is almost harassed by local authorities because she decided to take it a step further, decided to involve the authorities, the food department and the police.
The first easy solution I always give, Sonal, to all my contacts is, if you find a service provider or a brand or a manufacturer not coming up to your mark, boycott that brand. Don't buy it again. Don't go to them again. Even if they give you a lot of allurements like discounts, easy accessibility, but one experience should give them a message that you no longer want to be loyal to that brand or be able to take that brand forward unless they compensate you in such a manner without you going to the judiciary, that you bring back that smile on the face of that consumer and you continue with that brand. If they are unable to do that, don't go to that brand again, because they are highly dependent on the consumer. And if the consumer starts boycotting or differentiating between the substandard service providers and high quality service providers, you will find quality will prevail at the marketplace. That is one message which I always give to everybody, because I feel that the consumer's decision in purchasing a product is very critical. And that is what is highly dependent on whether it's an ice cream cone, whether it is getting a supply from a big reputed chain of platform which gives e-commerce facility. Whoever you talk about, my only message is, if they fail, teach them a lesson. And the only lesson you can teach them is, don't buy from them again.
Right. So, very important point there, Mr. Mishra, and I really feel that this is a conversation that we all need to understand. But lastly, I want to say this, that are Indians generally harder to please as consumers? Is that your reading? Or are we just a place where we don't understand perhaps our consumer rights?
Sonal, excellent question you've asked. I have traveled 40 years in the consumer domain, educating and empowering consumers or citizens or talking to the government to bring in consumer-centric policies. Indian consumers are extremely vulnerable. They are very innocent. They don't understand. They get caught because of the economic condition. They have hard-earned money with them, but they also have to live up to that life which they want to desire. And they see television, they look at surroundings, and then they aspire, to get to those brands, get to that lifestyle and things like that. And when in the process, they are unable to navigate in a manner which they should have been able to navigate out of awareness and education, which has not happened. And that is our responsibility. That is our response. And that's why I always talk about, like you talk about app, you go to this app, you promote this app, you go online, you go and write me an email. Come on, man. I want prompt solution. Don't tell me to sit in front of a screen or on my phone to take action. I want to call a number which is 24/7 and they take care of everything.
One portal for all resolution. I think that's a great idea, and we really hope work will be done on this one. Thank you so much, Mr. Mishra, for joining us with your perspective. Let's also get the brand's perspective now. Harish Bijor is with us now. He's a brand guru and would like to understand from him how brands perceive issues like these. Good morning, Harish. I want to understand from you that, not every case will be a snake in the box. Not every case will attract media attention or lead to outrageous tweets. In smaller instances, what are the kind of grievance redressal systems that actually work with brands?
See, firstly, things happen. We are a nation of FMCG companies, and we have a total of 56,000 FMCG companies, and each one of them has possibly a multiple of brands. So, and the number of people who order and the number of people who consume in this country, humongous number, 1 billion nearly, out of a 1.42 billion people. And therefore, India is a mass experiment for the marketer. And if a marketer performs, and if you don't have incidents like a snake landing up in a package or a finger landing up in your wafer package, you must be very, very grateful. Well, I'm playing the fool on that. What must you do? You must firstly complain. You must firstly bring the roof down.
Yeah.
Extremely important. You cannot take these things for granted. You need to say that this does not happen, this cannot happen. I am not bothered how many millions of packages you put together, but I don't want a human finger in a package of chips. Now, that's extremely critical. Point number 2 is we live in the era of social media. Make a noise not only physically, but make a noise virtually. Because the moment you make a noise virtually, companies wake up and smell the coffee. And they come to you, they reach out to you. Even then, if they don't reach out to you, time for you to go to the consumer court. There is a consumer court network in our country. You must reach out, you must ask for redress, and you must ask for redress as an individual and certainly as a community, because community redress is equally important.
Strength in numbers is what you're saying, but I'm not sure how many people have the time to actually go to the courts. Very quickly then, Harish, I want to understand, where does the buck stop in these cases? Because a lot of times, grievance redressal in these cases means that the delivery partner will say it is the fault of the manufacturer will say something happened in the middle, and there's always the consumer at the end of the day doesn't know where to go.
Well, from my perspective, I think the buck stops with the brand owner, full stop. And Amazon, for instance, cannot say that I'm a third party. And Amazon needs to own the entire value chain. Because please note, the product that is actually bought is something that is out on an Amazon portal. And therefore, if you've gone there, then the responsibility belongs to the mother brand, which is Amazon. If something goes wrong, either with the product, which has been outsourced from a manufacturer, or with the service delivery at the other end, or with the transportation, or with the third party who handled it to bring it to you, whichever part of the chain, I think the responsibility is of the mother brand. So please talk to the mother brand. And dear mother brands, and this message is to all the good brands of India, please don't ever say that this problem doesn't belong to me. It belongs to you and only you.
All right then. So that is a good way to end this segment. Fix responsibility on the mother brand. On the other hand, become demanding as customers. That's the only way to move forward on this one. This has been educational. If you have interesting, other fascinating ways of attracting attention and getting your complaint solved, please write into us with your feedback. For now, quick break, back with more.
टाटा की नई एसी
احنا كسعوديين متعودين بفضل الله والعرب، بس حجاج الخارج ما يتحملون هذه الحراره، فنسعى باعطائهم العصيرات والثلج والماء وتخفيف عليهم من درجات الحراره باذن الله، والحمد لله تيسير من الله، اللهم لك الحمد. حي على الفلاح.
لسه ماشي لما خلصت اقف انا كمان بالساعه وطالع.
Welcome back. It's time to take you through our person of interest on the program, and it's not a person, it's a full family today. Who am I talking about? Well, this is a breakfast interview of a very, very different kind. Take a look. Hi there! So every morning you see me run to the studio with a coffee mug in hand, but today our morning run is of a very different kind. We are here at Shivaji Park to meet three of the most fit individuals I know. One is in her 80s, the other one almost 60, the third in her 30s, but together they are redefining fitness goals for the country. So we've got our sneakers on, sunblock in. Let's go meet India's fittest family, the Sumans. Wait, hold on, Milind? Okay, that's one way to meet your guest. Hello, good morning.
Oh, waiting for you.
Well, this is what you do
best.
when you wait for people.
Best way to eat.
So Milind
Okay,
is
walk.
famous for, or infamous, can I say that, for making people do push-ups
Yeah.
when they want a selfie
Yeah,
with you.
only if they want a picture, yeah.
Yeah.
You want a picture?
हमें ये shoot करने के लिए क्या करना पड़ेगा?
No, I'm very happy.
हाँ.
Yeah, I'm very happy to talk about the book, so you don't have...
Oh, I'm saved.
Unless you want to run a little bit with me.
No, can we walk?
We can walk.
Okay.
You want to go?
I want to walk, and there's a really nice cafe around the corner where I thought we could sit and eat.
Okay, so we'll call Ankita and my mother as well.
Yes.
Excellent.
Great. Let's go.
Let's go.
India's fittest family. Joining me are three people of three different generations. Different in age, different in philosophy and thinking. Very different of what comes out in this book that they've come out with. It says keep moving. But what unites them and what is the fulcrum I felt in this book is that their quest to keep fit, their quest to keep active. That's what keeps them going. So I'm really excited about this conversation. We've had too many coffees. So now let's get started. Hello, welcome to the Breakfast Club. So glad to have all of you over here.
Thank you so much.
Let me do some introductions. Let me first introduce you to Milind Soman. The 90s kids know him as Captain Vyom. We know him as from Made in India. We also know him from running from Delhi to Bombay, sort of breaking lots of records in his own way. But he is here today in the capacity of being India's brand ambassador to fitness, and we want to understand loads from him. Also next to him is India's coolest mum. At 84, Usha Suman is breaking all records. Her knees are a reason of envy for a lot of people, and we want to understand how she keeps it going. And we also have Ankita with us. Ankita is a fellow millennial, so she totally understands what it means to be around such high expectations. But while the world is going after diets and new regimes, etc., Ankita likes to keep it simple, and we'll understand what is her fitness mantra. let's get started. Milind, first to you. You have already downed like a full bowl of fruits before we got started, and now you have a hot chocolate. So I want viewers to know that Milind's day is starting with a hot chocolate. There is no filter on what you're eating. You're just out there.
Yeah, I eat whatever I feel like. But I think what I've understood after so many years, because I've been fit for more than 50 years now. I started with competitive swimming at the age of 8. So what I've learned through my experience is what my body is comfortable with and what I really need rather than what I think I need. You know, so I do start my day with fruits. As you said, I've finished a whole bowl already. I can eat 4 bowls.
Wow.
And then I eat whatever I feel like, but in moderation. As we know, everything in moderation is good.
So 84, 58 and 32.
Perfect.
Let's try and decode what fitness regime really means for everyone. Can I please start with you, Shaji? You know, there's a very nice line in the book that you've written that the generation that came after you was freed of physical labor in a way. And that is the reason why they needed exercise. Your generation just grew up with life, and life was just, it was not, everything was not at a click of a button. Is that the reason why you are the way you are today?
I think so, because we didn't have to exercise as such. You know, we were doing everything that is needed for day-to-day life.
Yeah.
And that was including all sorts of exercises. So we didn't have to specially do anything, go to the gym or anything. I mean, nobody ever mentioned exercise.
Ankita, is it tough to sort of listen to different ideologies at home and still have it or have your own thinking? Because, you know, we are a generation who grew up in this internet boom.
Yeah.
We grew up with a lot of information out there.
Right.
And somewhere in the middle of it, I know you're a very sort of hard advocate for mental health as well.
Yes.
Balancing that is the key.
Yeah, of course it is. But also, you know, like you said, information is available everywhere now and we are almost always overwhelmed with it. But it is for you to take what you require on a daily basis. And I always say, take it, you know, day to day. You don't have to think what is going to happen tomorrow or what has happened earlier. If today is all right for you, be all right with today. That's all that matters.
Yeah, yeah. So Milind runs. Usha ji does a lot of skipping and walking. And Ankita does a lot of running as well and does yoga, which is interesting. So different techniques, but again, all leading to the same fitness thing.
Yes.
But how crucial, Milind, is, because, you know, early parts of the book talk about how it started early. You know, fitness is a sort of mindset. It is not something that you can just one day wake up to. And because you had those early years of swimming is what made you who you are today.
Yeah, well, I actually did wake up to it because there was no concept, like my mother said, nobody spoke about exercise or fitness or health, you know, 30, 40 years ago. So when people started talking about it, I realized that I was fit. And I had been fit my entire life, and that it was something that was interesting and that I should hold on to. Like, everybody has weaknesses, everybody has strengths. You have to recognize your strengths and weaknesses and work on the weaknesses, whether it's physical, mental, emotional, whatever it is. You have to work on the weaknesses. But to do that, you have to identify them first. And that comes again through introspection.
You've been a supermodel. You're used to looking a particular way.
But I was a model because I looked like that.
Yeah.
I never chose to be a model.
Yeah.
Somebody came and offered me a lot of money.
Yeah.
And I said, okay. Otherwise, I would have said no.
Yeah.
Right? I didn't even know that modeling was a profession when I started. It's because I was a sports person. I had a certain look, and of course I had a fabulous body, which you can see Made in India. But
How modest.
But see, I'm a model. I have to know, right? So it just I was there at the time, time and place and whatever.
Yeah.
I was offered the job, and it worked. Sometimes it doesn't work, you know. So it was a fantastic journey from there, but I did not get fit because I wanted to model or because I wanted to act. Or
no, but what I mean is that you had an added kick or a push to stay fit, to stay
No,
on
so
that
I'll tell
journey,
you what it was.
right?
That's what I was coming to. It was not because of that.
हाँ.
Like a lot of people think about actors and models. नहीं, उनका business है.
हाँ, काम है ऐसा
करना
दिखना.
पड़ता है,
हाँ.
करना पड़ता है. But for me, it wasn't like that.
हाँ.
Even if I wasn't a model or an actor, I want to be fit because I love what that means to me.
You wrote in the book that the first time you did a walk was well after your 50s.
60.
After my retirement.
After your retirement you started, but you'd been fit all over. How did that come about?
That was due to the active life. I was so busy. And
as a professor in college.
Everything, job, house, children, everything. That kept me on my toes. So that kept me fit, as in today's language. But I didn't have to make an effort for it. Because in those days we did everything ourselves.
Yeah.
Like there were no machines, no gadgets.
Yeah.
And we didn't jump in a taxi when we wanted to go.
No restaurants, no packaged food.
Yes. And
no
phones.
phones.
The deterioration started when you started getting these gadgets.
Yeah.
So at the just touch of a button, you can do things.
Yeah.
Where we had to make an effort to do
Yeah,
that.
but people say retirement ke baad you should take it easy. You are to pushing your boundaries every day.
Who are those people?
Who are
Who are those people?
It depends.
And we take it easy only.
I would say that you should plan something before you retire.
Yeah.
So that, otherwise there is an emptiness.
Correct.
If you're busy all your life, suddenly you retire and don't know what to do. So you should plan for that. So whatever hobby you have or anything.
Yeah, Ankita, who are these people? What is this generation? Why are they being ageist? Why are they saying things about technology? We were born into it.
Exactly.
I love
Love
technology.
technology. Let me tell you that.
technology.
They both love technology.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's just that they probably want to say that people don't know how to use it in moderation anymore.
Correct.
Because,
Yeah.
there's so much of it available everywhere. Everywhere, like literally.
Yeah.
So it becomes a little difficult for us. But then again, like we talked earlier, you just have to find moderation in everything.
How do you pick yourself every morning and say that we have to do this? Melinda is smiling. Like, who are these people? I don't know these people.
I have no idea.
Okay, I am surrounded by people who wake up early morning and they go every day. Milind, let me knock and burst your bubble. A lot of people, majority of people don't do that. It is very hard
I know.
to get up every morning and go out and do it.
I know. Well, I don't wake up early in the morning and go out and do it either, which they will tell you. Both of them wake up earlier than I do.
Yeah.
I wake up by about 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock. People don't believe that. They also don't believe that we don't go to the gym ever. And most of the runners I know run at 5:30 or 6 in the morning.
Yeah.
I run at 10 or 11 or 12 or
In this
1.
Bombay heat?
In any
Yeah.
heat, any cold, anything, I don't like waking up early. So to burst your bubble.
Let's shift gears a little bit and talk about food.
Yeah.
Since we have a lot of it on the table
Yeah,
already.
a lot. Nice.
There's also a very nice line which really stuck a chord with me. In one of the chapters, Ushaji, that mentions you, you said there was a time, today there's so much of fuss made about eat fresh, eat local, eat seasonal. This wasn't an option back then. But today, do you find it hard? That's what I want to know, to access food which is seasonal, which is fresh, which is local?
No.
Not really.
I always wonder if it is fresh. And local, yes. But seasonal, sometimes no. You get things all the year round.
Yes.
And there is no seasonal now.
Definitely IE is about all fresh and local. But I do believe that, you can only do it to a certain point. So the days that you can't, you cannot source local and fresh, you have to rely on the things.
But you've eaten very interesting things growing up.
Yes.
Yeah.
Silkworms and stuff.
Yeah. Can you educate us a little bit about that?
Imagine, that is local to Assam, Silkworms are local. Local and fresh. So,
and they're snacks.
Yes.
Yeah, you just toss them, fry them.
So, usually we have our own silk
very
farms.
tempted.
Like, because you
Very
produce
appetizing conversation.
I've tried them.
Yeah, and?
He's highly allergic to it.
I got hives.
Okay, so just one of the big disclosures or news to me that broke out of this book as well was that Milind looks very fit, looks like this person who's always stayed healthy, eats healthy, is a fitness freak both in mind and body and soul.
Loves
but
mangoes.
Loves mangoes. But that was not always the case. So let's see if we can get some of the juice out of that. Can I come to you, ma'am, then to try and understand? Milind always wasn't this way. There were years when he was quite a bad boy.
But
what do you mean by bad boy?
You know better. There was a lot of, in that time, drinking, smoking, a lot of that happening around you, and that derailed you a little bit.
Well, I wouldn't say it derailed me because I like to experiment. And I think, that's what it was. And it is addictive, of course. And I have an addictive personality. So I run a lot. I swim a lot. So, of course, when I started, like I said, I tasted alcohol when I was in my 20s. And when I did, and I felt the intoxication, I got addicted to that. Yeah. So it lasted a few years till I realized that, why am I doing this? It's not so good for me. And I realized, I think, because of my background as a sports person, I knew what it meant to be fit, to be really fit. And this was affecting my fitness. So I said, it's not something that I want, I prefer my fitness to this. So I chose that.
Yeah.
Right? But after that, I also started smoking. Maybe a few years after I stopped drinking, I started smoking. Even worse, total stupidity. So the thing is that, again, when I smoked for a few years, and I, of course, hated drinking and smoking, and I never smoked at home and I never drank at home, and I never bought a single cigarette, but I used to smoke a lot. But I also realized that, why am I doing this? Because it's not taking me in the place I want to go.
Yeah.
And so I stopped.
How did you react through that phase for him?
She didn't talk to me.
Yes, I stopped talking when I realized he was drinking. And
every time she saw me
you won't believe, but I didn't know he was smoking.
Oh God!
Whenever I asked him, but your clothes smell smoke. Yeah, other people smoke. That's how I get it. But I didn't know he was smoking.
And you lied.
Did you know what he was smoking?
Forget that. I didn't know he was smoking.
All different smoke smells different.
Yeah. I came to know when I read the book Made in India. Honest.
Really?
Yes.
Well kept secret.
How? Because
he's too smart then.
Because nobody ever said anything.
You also started running very late in life.
38.
38.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just touching 40 when people say that, listen, be careful.
Yeah. So the reason for that, and why I say,
ma'am is going, what? 40? What is that number?
It's all in your mind.
It's all in her mind.
My mind only. Clearly, it's only the Sumans know how to do it, guys. We are all mango people, as we say. There is lots to learn.
Mango people
from that.
Otherwise, at 60, I wouldn't have gone to Everest Base Camp.
Yeah. Yes.
Or climbed Kilimanjaro.
Wow. So those are the lesser known facts. What we've seen you go viral for is your skipping and your push-ups and all of it. All these years.
Nobody took videos then when I climbed.
How many kilometers to your wedding in Spain? I believe everybody walked.
320 kilometers.
Okay, just say it again, just to put perspective. They got married, they had a beautiful Assamese.
No, it was a Maharashtrian wedding.
It was a Maharashtrian wedding, but then you guys went to Spain and then you made everybody walk
Well, just
to the venue.
Three of us.
Yeah.
And my sisters walked the last 100, I think.
Yeah, 150
the last
or something like that. Yeah.
So
But we
300 plus kilometers.
Yes. And she was faster than us because, her muscles are, because she walks every day and we run different muscle groups. And she was like really fit, way ahead of us. And I'd be like, I want to take a break now. Can we please? And she's like, come on, 2 more kilometers and then you'll get lunch. I was like, oh, okay.
ये कैसी family है? If this is what you're thinking, I'm also thinking that. You're absolutely normal if you say ये कैसी family है, 300 किलोमीटर चल के जाती है.
Welcome to
Nearly 2 million Muslims will complete the Hajj pilgrimage this week, but extreme heat has been fatal for hundreds who started the journey last Friday to the Kaaba in Mecca, Saudi Arabia. According to reports, at least 562 people have died during the Hajj. Egypt has reported 307 deaths and 118 missing, with temperatures hitting over 124 degrees Fahrenheit. The Hajj timing is based on the lunar year, moving back 10 days each year. While the Hajj is now moving towards winter, it will occur in the peak of the summer in Saudi Arabia by the 2040s. Climate scientist Fahad Saeed says these deaths hint at future risk for millions of Hajj pilgrims.
We need to prepare.
Welcome back. Let's shift our focus towards sports now. India is to take on Australia today in the last game of the Super 8. It's a do-or-die match for Australia today as they take on the formidable Indian team. Jamie Alter has all the details.
Quite a lot of drama over the weekend at the T20 World Cup in the West Indies. India, led by Rohit Sharma, smashing Bangladesh by 50 runs to get their net run rate to 2.425. That is the best net run rate in Group 1, and it is that advantage on the net run rate table that should see India go through to the semi-finals later this week. But it is a result on Sunday, yesterday, where Afghanistan beat Australia by 20 runs for the first time, let me add, in any form of cricket. It is that win that has set up today's match between India and Australia as something quite spicy. I say spicy because before yesterday's result, you looked at India and Australia and you figured, you know what, straightforward, battle of the heavyweights. The two teams that met in the WTC final last year as well as the World Cup final. It's a big match, but now it's bigger for Australia. Yes, Mitchell Marsh's team, unbeaten in the World Cup before they played Afghanistan, now have to win that match, because what the Afghanistan result has done is it has pushed Afghanistan's chances in the semi-finals race. It's a long shot, but Australia simply have to beat, well, not just beat India, Australia, if they want to win the World Cup to add to 3 titles in a row, they have to win 3 matches from here. But it's India with the advantage. A, because, as I mentioned, that superb net run rate, and also because now they are the only unbeaten team in Group 1. And hats off to India for smashing Bangladesh by 50 runs. Rohit Sharma didn't work again. Virat Kohli got an enterprising start, but then got out for 37. Rishabh Pant again got a cameo. But the silver lining, the most impressive aspect of that Indian win was Hardik Pandya getting a 50. It's been a long time, my friends, since Hardik Pandya managed a 50 in this format. We know he was out of the game for about 5-6 months after his injury in the World Cup last year. His form for Mumbai Indians was debatable. People wondered whether he could change jerseys from a Mumbai Indians blue to an Indian jersey blue and come back with all guns blazing, and he has. With the ball, Hardik Pandya has been exceptional this World Cup. He's got a couple cameos with the bat, but it was that 50, unbeaten 50, coming at a strike rate of nearly 200 in the win over Bangladesh on Saturday, which was the big plus point. Jasprit Bumrah, brilliant once again. Arshdeep Singh, very, very good. And the Chinaman bowler, the left-arm wrist spinner Kuldeep Yadav, who, let me remind you, did not play a single game in the New York leg of India's campaign. He slotted right into India's 11 as soon as the Super 8 round began in the West Indies. He got 2 wickets in the first match and now 3 wickets on Saturday to really put the finishing touches on India's win over Bangladesh. Coming to today's match, it's a cracker, a virtual quarter-final, you can say, for Australia. If India win, I mean, they are straight through to the semi-finals. Even if India lose, Australia will have to win, rather, by a margin of 41 runs. And then the final match, the final league match of this Group 1, Afghanistan and Bangladesh, there's going to have to be a massive win for Afghanistan by something around 83 runs. So it's all looking very positive for India. Of course, they would want to exact revenge for what happened, as I mentioned last year, in the WTC final as well as the One-Day World Cup final. But it's not all gloom and doom for India like it is for Australia. And the credit for that goes to an unbeaten streak from this Indian team. In my viewpoint, India are unbeaten in this World Cup largely because of what the bowlers have done, led, as I mentioned, by the brilliant Jasprit Bumrah, whose economy is one of the best going around in this tournament. He's taken wickets in almost every single match. He's been a constant supply of wickets for captain Rohit Sharma, Arshdeep Singh, Hardik Pandya, the spinners Akshar Patel and Jadeja not quite operating at anywhere near optimum level, but the way that Kuldeep Yadav has slotted into this tournament as soon as the Super 8s begin, it just puts India as definitely the team to beat. And I'm sure many teams will be watching today's match between Australia and India and going, which team do we actually want to see emerge victorious here? That is the nature of the T20 World Cup, a cracker of a weekend and a cracker of a game later today between India and Australia.
All right, then good luck, Team India. We'll be watching and hooting away. That is all we could wrap in today's episode. We'll see you again tomorrow morning 8, where we will be looking at a special story on multivitamins. Should you be having them? What are the long-term impacts? That's coming up tomorrow. Bye-bye for now.
Adapt, we need to introduce the adaptation option as much as we can, while realizing that it will compromise on the centuries old ritual, but still we need to save people. But at the same time, we must do climate action to stop the global warming at 1.5 degrees centigrade. At anything beyond that, I mean, we are putting those pilgrims at the risk of death.
Heat-related deaths during the Hajj have been recorded since the 1400s. Pilgrims' vulnerability stems from exertion, exposure, and older age, as well as a simple lack of acclimatization to the heat. According to Saudi officials last year, more than 2,000 people suffered from heat stress during that Hajj. A 2021 study in the journal Environmental Research Letters found that if global temperatures rise by 2.7 degrees Fahrenheit above pre-industrial levels, heat stroke risk for Hajj pilgrims will increase by 5 times. Still, pilgrims remain determined. For some, it's a once-in-a-lifetime affair.
Hajj is the 5th pillar of Islam, and it is a mandatory duty for every capable person, so you have to exert efforts and get tired. Hajj is a difficult task, so you have to exert efforts and perform the rituals even in the conditions of heat and crowding. You use an umbrella, drink water, and pour it onto your body to prevent dehydration, and the water sprinklers in the walkways help.
In 2016, Saudi Arabia implemented a heat strategy with shaded areas, water points at every 500 meters, and improved healthcare. Saudi health authorities advise pilgrims to stay hydrated and avoid outdoor activities from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. during this year's Hajj.
A very good morning to all our viewers. You're watching the morning news on CNN News 18. I am Anjali Pandey, and the first parliament session of the newly formed 18th Lok Sabha is all set to begin today. And in the next 1 hour, we'll be getting you all the updates related to that. In fact, we are getting some breaking news on the same. And ahead of the parliament session, a war of words has erupted between Jairam Ramesh from the Congress party and Parliamentary Affairs Minister Kiren Rijiju after the Parliamentary Affairs Minister posted on social media that he will be assisting the members as the Minister of Parliamentary Affairs. Then Jairam Ramesh took a dig at Rijiju, saying that